Welcome back. In this episode we're going to talk about bushing sizer dies, talk a little bit about why you might want to size with a bushing die, as well as how to figure out what bushing to use and how to set the die up. What the bushing sizer die uses is a small bushing to size the case neck. By replacing these bushings with another bushing of a different diameter, we adjust how much sizing we do to the case neck. As you can see in these cutaway dies right here, the bushing fits in the case neck area. Now, these are two different cartridges, but as you can see, in a non-bushing style sizer, we have the case neck sizing amount determined by the internal dimensions in the die. Whereas in the bushing style sizer, by swapping the bushings out, you can make an adjustment and get the desired neck tension. Now, how do we measure neck tension? The way neck tension is measured is by measuring the amount that the case neck is expanded when a bullet is seated in it. Now, what I have here is a case that has been sized in a sizer die and a case with a bullet seated in it. What we do is we measure the outside diameter of the neck after the case has been sized. As you can see, I have about 330.5 thousandths. With the loaded round diameter is 333 in this case. When you subtract those two numbers, you have a difference of about 2.5 thousandths. So this loaded round would be referred to as having 2.5 thousandths of neck tension. Most target shooters tend to shoot generally pretty light neck tensions in the range from about a minimum of 1/1000th to a maximum of about 3 thousandths. For hunting and other purposes where the ammunition may not be handled as gingerly, we generally suggest something like 3 thousandths to 5 thousandths neck tension. This is going to give a little bit tighter grip on the bullet and make the ammo a little bit more durable, especially in applications where we're running through an automatic rifle and the round has to be fed from the magazine up into the chamber. Once we've decided how much sizing we want, we've got to calculate what size neck bushing that we need. If you take the loaded round neck diameter, which in this case was .333, and subtract 2 thousandths, that's a good starting point for a bushing for you to start with. We're going to talk about how to install the bushing into the die. The bushing gets dropped in from the top of the die and will sit down in the neck area of that die. All you've got to do to install this thing is drop it in, and on most brands of bushings they intend for the numbers that are stamped in the bushing to go down. So numbers down, we drop it in the top. The decap assembly will go in and will stop the bushing from being pushed upwards when it's sized. Now, what you want to do is you want to thread this decap assembly down, and right now I can feel it pinching on the top of that neck bushing. From here, we want to back this assembly up very slightly because the bushing needs to be able to move very slightly in the die so that it can center itself on the case neck. So I'm going to back it up about 1/8 of a turn, and then I'm going to tighten down the lock ring. Now we have the bushing properly installed in the die. The rest of the adjustment of the die, such as getting the headspace set up, the decap assembly properly adjusted, and those sorts of items were discussed earlier and will be the same as for a non-bushing die.